everybody, it's Julie from A Beautiful Horizon, and today I'm doing the Preschool Homeschool Tag. I was tagged by Momma Schmooze Reviews and Rachel from Day to Day Joys, and there were a few other moms who have already done the tag. I haven't watched all the videos yet, but I will leave the playlist in the description box if you want to check out all the other videos after you watch this one. And I tag Jaimie, Kight, Tabitha, Kelley, and Wannabe Homesteader. So if you guys want to do this tag, or if anybody else wants to do this tag, I'll leave the questions in the description box. So for context, my kids are going into 4th grade, going into kindergarten, and then my youngest is 3. So I have a 9-year-old, an almost 5-year-old, and then a 3-year-old. So I have kind of gone through preschool with 2 of them, and then I have 1 more to get through. So I did things a bit differently with my oldest being a boy and being very outdoorsy and being very creative and all that sort of thing. He was not really into sitting and doing book work and, you know, like a whole lot of that stuff when he was little. So we really started really anything formal with him when he was 5 years old, and as opposed to like pre-K. With my daughter, she was more into doing that sort of thing. She really wanted to do school. Of course, she had an older brother who was already doing school, so that has something to do with it as well. So she started and actually did more of like not an official pre-K, but did more pre-K type things. Rather than with my son, it was more like pointing things out to him, or just, you know, singing songs, or you know, doing rhymes, or like listening to things. It wasn't really anything written until he was 5. So the first question is, what are some of our favorite picture books? And I'm just going to say for preschool, my daughter's favorite was the Dr. Seuss ABC book. We read through that a bunch of times. I've talked about it before on my channel, and I will leave a link in the description box for as many of these items as I can. But she really loved that. We, of course, love any like picture Bibles. We'll read through some picture Bibles. We also like the Beatrix Potter. We like, oh, I don't know, just lots. Lots of anything with pictures we're down for reading. We like biographies and like Little House on the Prairie, those sorts of things. And they just hear it when I'm reading to the older ones too, like with my youngest. How do you teach ABCs, colors, shapes, numbers? So I mentioned the ABC book. We also love puzzles. We did a lot of puzzles with my daughter. Coloring pages, my son, I would do printables. More of his like preschool and kindergarten was kind of put together. But he already knew like how to count. And a lot of that was just counting with him. Whenever we would do something, we would count them. With my son, it was a lot of hands-on. With my daughter, we've done a little bit more written. I'm not a fan of everything Usborne. I believe in creation, and they have a lot of evolution in a lot of their books. But these wipe clean first math and also alphabet. I think these are nice, and they don't have anything that disagrees with what I believe in here that I found. She likes to do this one. She's been doing this. So it just has, you know, literally just the alphabet. And it also has like M, moon, mouse, monkey, milk. And then this is more the pre-K part where it's got the numbers, and then you can count, and then it's got the word. And I think, I'm not sure if you always have to buy Usborne through a distributor, so that might be difficult unless, I mean, you probably know somebody who sells it, right? And then it has just like a simple addition, and very colorful. Okay, so it does have subtraction too. So this I would say is more like kindergarten. So there we go. But even into 1st grade maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty, it goes pretty high. But at least for this section where they're writing like the 1 through 10, and they're counting 1 through 10, and they're, you know, looking at the words 1 through 10, this would be good for pre-K. We also like the Winnie the Pooh 1, 2, 3s and ABCs. It's on YouTube. I don't know if it should be on YouTube, but it's there. And then we also like Letter People. It's kind of like an old school video series. I think it was on probably PBS or something like that at one point, and now it's on YouTube. And I will leave the link in the description box. And some of them are kind of trippy. I mean, it's like during that, you know, it was a while back when it was created. And some of it is kind of a little out there. But, I mean, aren't most shows nowadays, I guess. But still, my son would learn his numbers with that. And we had little puppets where we would have a brown bag, and then we would put the letter person, like Mr. H has horrible hair, or Mr. N has a noisy nose, or Miss A says achoo because she's always sneezing. And anyway, and they differentiate between the letter boys are all the consonants and the letter girls are all the vowels. So it just kind of helps the kids remember the differences. I feel like they have a lot of little techniques for helping you remember. So did we use a curriculum with my son? We did not. It was just kind of, learning with life. With my daughter, we've just recently gone through the Level K primer course with my daughter this past year. I didn't talk about it at all really because we kind of just did this over the past couple months. My daughter went through it pretty quick. It's pretty short, so it just took her like maybe a couple months to get through it. So we didn't really talk about it officially on YouTube or anything. I didn't like announce that my daughter was going to do it. I just thought, she's going to start kindergarten when she turns 5. She really loves school, so we decided to do this with her, and then we'll be doing the kindergarten coming up. She also likes things like this, where you're just looking at, all the different, like A is for apple, B is for basket, all that sort of thing. She loves that sort of thing. And also, I think I have one for numbers as well. And just doing something simple like this, she loves. And there's also, the little ones that you can buy, or you can print out pages like this from like Pinterest and that sort of thing. Websites. What websites do I love? I love YouTube. There are a lot, I'll talk more about that in a minute, but there are a lot of videos on here, and I guess this will be my official video talking about all the different educational shows that we like to watch. And then also printables on Pinterest. I mean, Pinterest can take you all over the place, and I don't really do a whole lot of specific websites. I know there are a lot out there. I've looked at some of them, and I didn't really stick with them, but I think there's plenty of helpful websites out there, and I tend to just search for what I'm looking for and go with that, whether it's a printable or like a YouTube video or something. Do I take my preschooler to any weekly activities? I don't necessarily take them to anything super structured right now. We do church, and so they'll be in their class, be around other kids, get used to having, like somebody else teach them a little bit sometimes. I like having that. I've had periods of time where I've kept them in the service with me, especially when they're very little. But just over the past year or so, I've been putting them in their class and let them, enjoy that time and have somebody else teach them about, God and all that besides just me. And just kind of have that. I had that when I was growing up. I would go in my class and I had friends there at church, and, it was just, I guess, something that I liked. So I let them go in there. Class. My youngest, who's 3, still stays in service with me. He doesn't want to go in his class yet. When he does, then that'll be great. But that's what we do. But then also we'll go to the library. Sometimes we'll do like the Lego library class where they read a story and then they build something with Legos that has to do with the story. We'll go to like museums or parks, or like play dates and stuff with other people, or like nature trails, that sort of thing. But I don't necessarily do it every single week on a specific timeline or anything. We just kind of go as things open up, as there are opportunities to learn something in the community. We'll do that sort of thing, but it's not necessarily like every single week. How long do I spend educating my preschooler? I don't time how much time I spend with preschoolers. I kind of go off of when they're excited about it, we'll do it. If they're like not really into it. I mean, my son wanted to do as little as possible. My daughter loves it, so I kind of try to taper the experience to how much they can handle, and kind of their learning style. If they're more hands-on, do more of that stuff. If they love paperwork, do more of that sort of thing. Favorite educational shows. Okay, so a couple of these have already been mentioned in at least some of the videos I've already watched. But Wild Kratts is one of them. I know they do come from an evolutionary standpoint, but they really don't talk much about that, so I'm not really worried about that. Octonauts, the same thing. They don't really talk about it much, so it is what it is. Letter People, I've talked about that. They're puppets. And Winnie the Pooh, 1, 2, 3, and ABC. Liberty Kids is good for early American history, so like the founding of our nation. be great to check out for 4th of July. This is probably going to post, I don't know if this will post before or after, so we'll see. But yeah, Liberty Kids was pretty cool. It seemed pretty accurate. Also, I'm pretty secure in my American history, early American history, and it seems to be pretty accurate in my opinion. How you occupy your little one while homeschooling your older kids. I actually have an entire video that's going to be coming out about this. It's a collab, I guess you call it, between my mom and I, and we're going to be talking all about this. So I will link that after it comes out. Favorite educational toys. So we love chalk, playing with chalk outside. I consider things like bikes and scooters and skateboards and all that, I consider that educational. It's PE. They're getting out there, getting their energy out. We love things like that. I love, you know, if they can go play out in the water outside, if they can just get their energy out. Love those sorts of things. I also love things like this, where it's like multiple things at once. I've shared this before, but it's got the months, the time, the days of the week, the weather, the block of the day, morning, afternoon, evening, the seasons here. I say the month. Yeah, so it's got lots of different things here that they can learn. I also love an abacus. It's not in here right now, but we love having an abacus for them to learn to count all the way up to 100. They can count by tens. They can, you know, add, subtract, multiply, divide, all that kind of stuff. So we love an abacus. So those are all the questions that I have for today. I will be doing some more videos about homeschooling coming up soon. So subscribe if you want to see more homeschool videos. I also post things about homemaking and intentional living. Those are my 3 kind of things that I post about, which encompasses a lot actually. But I would love for you to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. If you want to do this tag, again, the questions will be in the description box. I would love for you to do it and let me know if you've done it so I can watch yours. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.